J.A. Stretford, Paddock. That's Abdullah.
Hello.
That's enough from you. And that's Joe Smith.
Hey,
How are we?
you all right?
Hey, you good?
I'll be Stephen Howson for this episode.
Yes, there isn't Stephen Howson. No, where's Stephen Howson? No, it's Joe, it's Abdullah, and it's Jay. But don't let that put you off. Get involved in the comments of the chat. We're going to be talking about Wayne Rooney.
Yeah. Next Manchester United manager, some say.
Stranger things have happened. Also,
Do you think? Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
already.
it's fine.
I'm being Stephen Howson, so I need to interrupt you all the time.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be more weird for Wayne Rooney to become United's next manager, or that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was United's last manager?
I think it'd be more weird for Wayne Rooney to be United's manager.
More weird, Rooney.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine him be like a tactical genius. Like, he'd have to have someone with him who's just doing all the stuff and just Rooney just
People say he's actually more tactical than you think, don't they? Like he's influenced a lot by Van Gaal rather than sort of like Ferguson. Yeah.
Because I always imagine Rooney as like old school sort of blood and thunder type. Get stuck into these.
Yeah, that's what I thought when you
Not
actually watch his Derby side. They got something about him.
Yeah, they're good. Anyway, what else are we talking about?
We're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about David De Gea. Ronaldo's son signed for United as well, apparently.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is it Chris Jr.?
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
there you go. So talk about that, and obviously the press conference. What's being said? What isn't being said? Eh?
More importantly.
That's more important. You got
Read between the lines.
Exactly. You see. So get involved in the comments. Nitin says the white Pele. Yep, he sure is.
Thank you.
And don't forget as well to hit that like button. Right? Should we see what? Should we see what Ralph said?
Yeah.
Ralphie boy. Yeah, he's been talking about opportunities created, chances and all that. He says, I think we are creating enough chances and enough opportunities in the last couple of games, but we just didn't score enough goals. But this is not only an issue with Cristiano, it's an issue with the other players, especially the offensive players. Yeah, just on that, because there's a sort of school of thought that United aren't playing that badly. It's just we're not finishing chances in terms of style, in terms of our sort of progression and stuff, and the way we're keeping the ball and the chances we're creating. It's moving forward. The actual, if you watch United's performances, they are getting better, but we're not finishing chances. That's one school of thought. Abdullah, I'll start with you. Do you agree with it?
Yeah, I do. I think it's only fair for the assessment of the last two games. I think most people would say we'd actually played pretty well. We had 22 shots, I think, last game. The game before, we had 30 against Middlesbrough. We missed 7 big chances. 7 big chances against Middlesbrough, which is a lot. I mean, like a side like City, when they go on battering teams and stuff, create between 4 to 6 big chances, I think. Like when they go on one of them rampages. So we missed too many that day.
Yep.
And against Burnley, you got to consider as well the goals that get cancelled out, where, arguably the Maguire one, I see that one a little bit. The second one, I just don't know why that gets cancelled out. Those shots don't even get registered, obviously, officially, because the whole thing's been cancelled. So, I mean, United should have won the last 2 games, and there are definitely positives to look at. Eventually, it's got to come through, and we start getting the goals, and we start hitting the back of the net, because we are creating big chances, man.
Joe, do you agree with what Abdullah's just said?
Yeah, these last few games have been the most we've controlled games, and the most chances we've scored compared to the least chances we've created compared to the least chances we've conceded all season. I would say easily. I know obviously one of them was against a Championship team, but against West Ham, we didn't actually create that much, but they didn't create almost anything, and obviously, we went on to win the game. The Middlesbrough game, farcical how many chances we missed. They literally had 2 chances all game. One Henderson blocked with his shins, and then the one that they scored, which again probably should have been ruled out.
Yeah.
Other than that, they created nothing the whole game. And again, the other night against Burnley, they basically created 2 chances all game and scored one of them. And we create 6 and 7 or 8 chances, like you're saying, and we only score one ourselves. I think if you're looking at improvement and progression, this is the thing people are looking for. Because when people used to say about Ole, it was just no tactics, just vibes, you're relying on individual brilliance, etc., etc. This thing that people used to criticise him for, those same people should now be saying, yes, we aren't winning games, or yes, we're dropping points, but we certainly aren't relying on individual brilliance, because that's the one thing we don't have over the last 6 weeks or the last month or so. Yeah. That's the one thing we're missing. If we had individual brilliance, we'd be through to the next round of the FA Cup, and we'd have won against Burnley the other night, and we probably would have, swept West Ham to one side quite comfortably. But we don't have that at the minute, and that's the thing that's missing. Tactically and fundamentally, this is the best we've been all season, without a doubt, I would say.
Can you... I don't like using this word, but can you talk about luck?
Of course.
Because people don't like to do that. People don't like to say that it's just fortune or whatever. And it's not that, that doesn't come into play. It's just the tactics or it's the players or whatever. But can you talk about, because on another day, like you were saying there, Abdullah, the second goal, I think, against Burnley that was disallowed, that gets given, it's 2-0, and that's the game won.
Yeah.
On another day, the handball isn't given.
Penalty as well, Ronaldo misses, like...
Yeah, that's
game's wrapped.
Yeah, just these little things. The Cavani header, for example. Okay, Nick Pope does a good set. I don't think he knows a lot about it. But just these little things where you think very close, fine margins. Can you talk about that as being just luck rather than, sort of not being good enough?
Yeah, I think obviously in the heat of the moment, you can't say we didn't get top 4 this season because we were unlucky, because I think that's it's relying too much on like outside influence. But when you look at the teams that win the league, obviously City is almost a different example because their squad's so deep and so good. But when Liverpool won the league and when Leicester won the league, and in the past when City have won the league up against United and stuff, it's very often that the team that wins the league has one of the least amount of injuries in the league that season. Leicester had the least injuries in the league the season they won it. And that's just something that is luck. Obviously, some of it is buying players that aren't injury prone, but like not to have any major injuries to any of your main players all season, you don't get luck like that. Liverpool, the same thing. The year they won the league, they basically had no injuries to their top players.
No,
the whole season.
I've never seen that as well with a front three like that. When you get attackers tend to get injured more, don't they? Like especially tricky little attackers because they're getting kicked all the time. They're doing all these twists and turns, so little things can get tweaks, whatever. Salah, Firmino, and Mane, I don't think they missed any games.
No, like it was ridiculous. Like from winning the Champions League to winning the league, they basically played every game, all of them. Yeah. And then I think they missed a few games, but generally speaking, they were fit for most of the season. And that is something that's luck. And people don't want to put too much down to that, but teams that don't get many injuries do way better. And if you get luck in that regard, it could be the difference between finishing second or winning the league. Imagine Jamie Vardy had been out for 3 months, or Mahrez or Kante had been out for 3 months that season, then they probably wouldn't have won the league. So I just think it's, at the time, you don't want to sit there going, aren't we unlucky? Look at us. It's so difficult being Man United fans.
Didn't miss a game in one of those seasons.
It's so difficult being Man United fans. But when you're looking at the season as a whole,
in the Premier League,
it's not stupid to bring luck into it, because that luck is something that is in the world. It's not something you can manifest or you can control, but it is there. You can't say they were unlucky with that or they were lucky with that. So I think we have been a little bit unlucky, but we need to be good enough and clinical enough that even without having the luck on our side, we still win those games.
Yeah, I like that. I agree with that.
The response to that Middlesbrough game was trying to be a bit more efficient in our play at Burnley, and I felt like we did that. Like the chances, again, Cavani should have been more ruthless with the header he got, didn't he? And then, I mean, the own goal that they scored, which shouldn't have been ruled out.
Very
Marcus
soft.
Pogba just puts his hand on someone's shoulder and he doesn't drag him. He doesn't
the funny thing about that is Peters
him.
Doesn't even ask for a foul. Like, he just puts his arms up, pissed off because they've conceded the goal. Same thing with Jay Rodriguez. Like, they didn't ask for a foul or anything, and the play continues. And I think that's where you're very unfortunate. The Middlesbrough game was down to our finishing. That game, brilliant header from Varane. Yeah. Again, discussions over that goal. You can see where they come from. But that other, the own goal, I mean, Marcus puts it in the dangerous area. They gets hit in the back of the net. It's an own goal. And I just think we did what we needed to do. It's a good point, because
when was it May who scores the own goal?
Yeah.
He sort of resigns himself to the fact it's a goal as well.
Yeah, they all walk away.
If me does that to Pogba's shoulders, like the ball's coming over and he just puts his hand on his shoulders to try and sort of get past him quickly, there's no way you get a penalty for that.
Compared
in a million years would you get a penalty.
Last season's run, where we were in top of the league for a part of the season.
Yeah.
And we faced Sheffield. There was some bullshit in that game. And then the West Brom away, where the guy's literally strangling.
Climbing all over Lindelof.
Yeah. And that's like, I know it's Lindelof and he can be weak in the air, but that is a foul.
But again, though, I think refs get dragged into those sort of storylines and those kind of like, because it's Lindelof and he's a bit weak in the, well, you got to be stronger than that, mate. You know what you're going to get with this type of strike. Like,
it's when
they
you
do it all the time.
And I think, to be fair, like I think I was watching, might be last season or this season, Burnley against Liverpool, and there were some of the dirtiest challenges I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Burnley players putting on Liverpool, but because it was the perception of Burnley, and then
that's what you get when you go to Burnley.
They carry on, and exactly, that's what it is. And again, it's Stuart Atwell, and apparently he's going to be VAR again for this weekend. So that's 3 on the bounce.
It's just
like, I will get into some of the comments. We've had loads of comments that have come up. Loads about you, Joe, about your hair.
Got my hair up, it's all right.
Someone saying Joe's beard is epic. Joe looking fresh says Hussey. Sorry, it was Randon Lewis who said it. Someone else said something about. I can't find it now. Sorry.
Just paraphrase it.
Nice? Joel Zapster says Joe has a colonoscopy appointment and needs his hair out of the way. Also,
is that trying to say that I've got my head up my ass?
Possibly, I'm not sure.
I think I might
Samuel
read too much into that.
says Joe. This is like the fucking Joe show. It's me and Abdullah.
It's one of the best shows, the Joe Show.
Yeah.
Tune in every day, 12 till 12. That's 24 hours.
Yeah.
Always me.
Samuel in the super chat, he's paid £2 for this, says, Joe, I've been told to ask about your deadlifts.
Yeah, it's kicking off.
Have you give him £2 to ask that?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know where he's got that from.
Why is he asking about him?
Well, because I've been doing deadlifts, Anna.
So
I don't know where he's got that. I don't know how he knows that.
What's going on with you and Samuel?
I don't know anyone called Samuel, really. So I don't know where he's got that from.
It does,
doesn't
doesn't
it?
it?
Paid £2 as well to put
You
that
give him
comment
£2 to ask you that.
I give him
because
a
you got to
tenner.
big yourself up, don't
That's
you?
the guy.
In fact, yeah, you said he's
Yeah.
a tenner super chat.
But it's not like
he's
my
had you over
deadlift
for
is no
£8.
good. But I've just been improving, that's all.
I bet you
So
bumped
you can-
into him in the changing rooms at the gym.
I don't go in the change rooms at the gym.
Bumped into
Did
him.
I just get naked next to the
Oh,
bench.
sorry, I've absolutely bumped into you again.
Oh,
Hey.
and again, and again, and again.
Peter Kelly
Close
says,
the door.
do you think Atwell is going to be under pressure tomorrow to give us a decision?
No.
He was on VAR for both Burnley and Middlesbrough, as my good friend Abdullah just said.
Yeah, but what pressure does a man in a cardboard box fucking 200 miles away really feel? He's hardly like suspended above the stadium like David
The only
Blaine over the
person
Thames, is he?
communicating
No one knows who he
the
is.
tea lady knocking on the door. Do you want to re-up on
Yeah,
your
exactly.
tea or something
Like he's in a he will be in a
just-
You want to re-up on your tea?
Yeah, that's
Is your
literally
tea
it.
lady? She's from The Wire. She got like Marlo Stansfield is your tea lady. Testers are out. They got WMDs. She want a re-up.
Yeah, P.S. That decision was shit. No one says anything to him.
Yeah, just sat there facing his screen, just like talking to his mate.
He's basically a 14-year-old lad playing FIFA on Xbox. That's what his job
You
is.
think he's winging it? Like a lot of people now working from home.
I reckon if you cut to it, he's got feet. He's
not
got his
there.
feet up.
Right, it's just
Yeah.
you think like he's on.
Yeah,
he's got
and he just
because I know a mate, who like
Mr.
used to be on
Atwell,
his
and
PS4.
he's cooking this.
Is that a foul? And he goes, yeah, it's a
fucking
foul.
hell.
Yeah,
Just a
foul.
sec, mate. Just a sec.
Yeah.
Wait, it's
hell.
bad.
He was
Because there's
having
no way you're missing some of them. Like
Oh,
the
sorry.
Middlesbrough
Peter
one,
Kelly says he's
Joe.
the ref tomorrow, not VAR. So, well, pressure's even more.
That's even
That is
better,
pressure
that.
then, to be fair,
Yeah,
because he
yeah.
won't be getting his re-up on his tee. Christopher Matthews says, if Pochettino becomes our manager, do you think it will be a mistake to have Kane as a target signing? I had this in my news this
question.
morning.
Massive
We need young, hungry players in our first team. So anyone who doesn't know, I mean, that Super Chat's pretty much explained it all. There was a story doing the rounds this morning that if Pochettino comes in, his sort of one of his
key
signings or one of his demands, if you can call it a demand, would be, or target, I think it's more appropriate, would be that he wants to bring in Harry Kane. Now, to start the 2 points is it doable and is it worth it? Abdullah, is it doable?
Worth it. Honestly,
Could we get him though? Do you think?
I think City offered over 100.
Yeah, but I
million
don't think.
last season.
I don't think City go back in for him.
And I think maybe Spurs
that's
this
your
time
point.
round think we made a mistake not selling him last time. We should do now. And United might be stupid enough to, rather than solve our biggest issue, which is defensive midfield, and buying an extra midfielder with Paul Pogba probably leaving. The thing is with the current market is I feel like the way the game's going now, you look at Vlahovic, you look at a couple of the younger strikers coming, Haaland and so on. I think the game's going back towards that side of having that pure number 9 with that, that ruthless side to their game, that, having that presence in the box. And I feel that's the type of player that Manchester United should be targeting. Vlahovic would have been decent. The thing is, Kane gives you pretty much everything you want in a striker, but again, it's the injuries, it's spending that money. Yeah. It almost feels like you've already got Cavani and Ronaldo. Do you want to go down that route again? Or do you want to go and look at an Isak? I know his goals might have fell off a bit this season, but his link-up play is fantastic. We've seen what he did in Euros, one of the most exciting players to watch at the Euros, very quick with his feet, building up his game, seems very committed as well. So there are a few players I would have looked at. Vlahovic would have definitely been one, but obviously he's gone to Juventus
How much?
now.
You know, for like 60 million, didn't he? Was it 70 million?
Juve, yeah, around that, 60, 70
Which isn't a
million.
lot, really. I know he's quite a, he's not a huge name like a Haaland or someone, but Like
I think they were clever
goals
getting
he was
him now.
scoring. Yeah, if he
would've
left
gone
it
in the
another
summer.
season or two, it might have been 100 million.
I think he would have gone in the summer. Like there isn't a lot of that type of striker when you want to.
No. Well, he's really just burst onto the scene in the last 18 months, hasn't he? So,
yeah. And I think the other one again, like if United were in a better position, they've shot themselves in the foot. I think they would have had a shout in with Haaland.
Yeah, but the thing with Haaland, and I said this the other day, but his injury record is like the same as Paul Pogba's. He misses like a third of the games this season.
Worse than Paul Pogba's.
It's terrible. I know people, he's a great striker and he gets a goal a game, but he only gets you 25 goals a season in the league because he only plays 25 games.
Yeah, I do agree, but I think the age factor's on his side of it, where you see that he can get back, he can find some sort of rhythm.
The way like Varane did,
sort
maybe.
himself out, exactly. And
it's a weird one we came as well, isn't it? Because this season, you all make valid points about all those young players, and I think my sort of instinct, some inclination is I would like to see a young striker coming in or a young attacker or whatever, rather than someone who is going to be 29 by the time the next season starts. Kane, last season he played 35 games, just looking at his stats in the league, and scored 23 goals. So very good. Missed 3 games, fantastic record. This season as well, he's played 20 games in the Premier League, which is pretty much all of them. Only 5 Premier League goals, although he has got 7 more in, 10 more in other competitions.
I don't feel like he's getting
Europa
so
League.
It's like his appearances have been phenomenal. I think he's almost perfect in terms of Premier League appearances. Goals tally, 5 Premier League goals at this stage.
He almost doesn't get the same chances anymore. Like I have watched quite a bit of Spurs when he come back in. Like when he come back into the team, obviously he started the season a bit late with the whole transfer fiasco, and then it's supposedly taken a bit.
He did miss a couple of games, didn't he? Early
but
season.
as in since then, you're right. Like he has played consistently, and I do enjoy watching Kane and Son and that combination. And I feel like he's just not getting the same chances. He's not getting the same feel of the ball. He's not feeling quicker.
Do you know what? I'd have him.
I'd
still have him.
I mean,
I'd have to see what he does at the end of the season.
He is only going to be 29. He's not. This isn't Ronnie.
And also look at Lewandowski. What is he? 34 now.
Lewandowski almost has a perfect injury record. Like
no, I'm not saying he's as good as Lewandowski. I just mean
I mean just the injuries. The big.
I think.
I don't want to get a 9, rely on him, and then you've literally got like Marcus Rashford, who's not naturally going to be that pure number 9. And I think, again, like some of our forwards can offer that. I don't know what happens with Martial. Obviously, he either goes and does well and you try to sell him off. And I feel like the current era of football, like when you look at, Tammy Abraham right now in Rome is doing all right. Like I'm not saying we should go for him. He'd probably be down somewhere in our list if we were to target a number 9. Yeah. I feel like we're going to that next stage. And I feel if you get Kane, you spend 100+ mil, he gets injured. I would love Kane. If I knew that I wouldn't get injured, I don't think he's
100 mil. No. I think there's a way. There's an argument as well. Like, let's say Spurs don't get. Let's say Spurs don't get Champions League, right? Let's say we beat them to the Champions League spot, right? It's us, Chelsea, Scousers, and City, right? So Spurs have missed out on 60, 70 million on the Champions League potentially, maybe a little bit more. I think you give them that for Kane, for a 29-year-old, say 75 million, they'll take it. I do.
I doubt
a massive difference that year. I know it's only a year from when he was.
Did they reject 140 million pounds from City?
That year matters. It does. You value
Sancho, same thing.
Yeah, your value drops a lot because you're a year close to the end of your contract. You don't know what he said to Levy in terms of he might just be like, give me what, like Levy's like, listen, you're not going anywhere, just give me one more year and then we'll talk. Plus, I don't think City are backing for him. I think they're going to go out for Haaland or a younger player. And I think they've kind of looked at it and gone, we didn't need Kane.
And the other thing to remember is...
and they've been burnt with Grealish as well.
The same way we're going, well, it's only 5 goals this season. Maybe he's not going to be the player he has been, injury record, etc. They're probably thinking that. Yeah. There's a chance that Daniel Levy's sitting there thinking... He probably will come back from this. He's only 29. He's still got his peak years ahead of him. Yeah, he'll be 29 next season. He's still got his peak years ahead of him. We're probably going to see the old Harry Kane again. Yeah. But there's a chance we don't. Yeah. And in 2 years, he's going for 30 million or 40 million. Yeah. If his injuries come back and the goals don't, this might be the last chance they get to get 70+ million for Harry Kane.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean,
because probably he'll come back to where he was.
Around
but
the £70
who knows?
million mark, I'm taking him, and I think 100% I'd take him. But you'd have to make
I
sure.
Think anything under 100, I'd have him.
Yeah, and I think
that means you still got some money for the defensive midfielder.
I think the problem this season, the summer, was I think Spurs looked at it and thought. I think they may have thought City were going to go all out, and they could have got more money from City, so they were willing to say that. I think they also looked at it and thought, without Kane, we're completely, even if we get that money in, we're completely screwed, or whatever. And it's a bit late in the day.
And the other thing to remember is they were probably thinking, Harry Kane is such a good draw for whoever our next manager is. we need people like him to still be at the club to get Conte, who they were trying to get at the time. I know they didn't get him in the end, but they were probably thinking he's a great bargaining chip for like the next manager. We probably promised Nuno like you're going to have Harry. Like I don't know, you're attracting managers and staff and people to the club. He's probably the biggest name at that club by a mile, isn't it?
It's
so
interesting.
They wanted to keep him.
We've got a poll going. It says, "Would you take Kane at United?" Have a guess. Don't look. Can you say?
I saw it. Yeah.
All right, go on. I'll ask you.
Mostly no.
Yeah, go on. Guess the percentage.
I can see. I can't.
Well, if you can see it, that's not really.
Well, stop looking then.
No, because this is after you told me to not guess.
You're looking at it more now. Stop it.
I'm going to guess 69% no.
Yeah, you're right. It was 69% no, 31%.
What a guess.
Yes, which says a lot more, probably more about Harry Kane's decline rather than anything else because United, where we are, you think.
I think if we had a DM solved, I wouldn't mind.
No. Speaking of Harry Kane's decline, Manscaped.
Nice.
Roses are red, violets are blue, and Ronaldo's gone. And don't let a wild pube wreck you. Valentine's Day is just around the corner.
Yay!
It's on Monday, man. It's on Monday. And
Is it really?
Manscaped
Oh
are
my
our sponsors
God.
today, and they are here for you with the best tools to get your balls ready for the special occasion.
This V-Day, which is short for Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
not
Vagina
venereal
Day.
disease day.
Or that one.
Yeah, or that one. It's time to join the 4 million men worldwide who trust. They don't just trust Manscaped. They love
I'm one of them.
Manscaped.
You know.
Oh, yeah. It's good.
You,
isn't it?
Yeah, I've got
When's
one.
the last
Right,
time
so-
you joined those 4 million men? What did you do? You went out, didn't you, earlier?
Yeah, we all went
You
out.
went out to Moon Underwater.
We had some water.
Nightmare
Dorman
getting
was
in.
like, yeah, not tonight, lads.
Yeah.
I was like, racist.
Yeah, and you went like, look, I've shaved. You went ID, and you went, I've shaved it into my pubes because it's that precise.
And then he went, tell you what, come in. All 4 million of you can come in. It was great. We got Leverdale. I didn't. The lads did because I don't drink, but it was mint. Anyway, any road. If you join the 4 million men, you get the lawnmower 4.0 technology, right? Yeah. Trust me, as a man who's been down the 2.0 and the 3.0 road, you do not know how lucky you are when that 4.0 comes out, man.
And let alone
it is sick.
Other brands, other places where you get it and it's chewing you up like some sort of threshing machine down there.
And as if all that weren't enough.
One time I shaved it with a knockoff brand, chewed it all up, and I just had to sort of pat the kind of minced flesh back down and hope that the scabs kept it in place.
I had to use a lighter once. I didn't even have that. I had a lighter.
Yeah.
I just had to set fire to things.
Yeah, like Shutter Island.
And then put them out. Put it out. Yeah, that was it. You didn't have shavers.
Yeah.
You had fire.
Matches and that.
But thankfully, with Manscaped, you don't just get a shaver with a 4.0 lawnmower technology. You've also got the refined cologne.
Yeah.
I love all that. You get the shed travel bag. So you can look like you're looking like, you know, you're coming off the team bus, giving it a thumbs up and all that. You get the boxer briefs, which are anti-chafing.
Yeah, how was your anti-chafing? Sure.
She's all right. She's on tablets, but
she?
you know, she's
a lot
pulling,
of redness between those legs, wasn't there?
she's pulling through.
Good lad.
And don't forget as well, if all that is not enough, you get 20% off and free shipping.
Yeah.
So click the link in the description. 20% off and free shipping. That's 20% off and free shipping. Join Cupid and shoot your arrow.
Thank God.
I thought it was going to say something
Yeah,
dirty.
knob.
Yeah, load.
Okay.
Sorry.
Too far.
Shoot your arrow with Manscaped this Valentine's
Click the
Day.
link in the description. Just click it.
Click it.
See what happens. If you've never clicked it before anything, just click it. See what happens.
Christopher Matthews, welcome to the Academy. Thank you for all your support, my friend. Thanks to all our members for showing us some fantastic support.
Respect.
We do appreciate it. So, Kane, you two aren't feeling it. You're a bit on the fence, I feel. Yeah, okay. You're having it. You're a bit. If it's, are we disturbing you there?
This was a very important text. I was just making sure if. Do you know what Fabrizio does on his live streams and his live?
You texting Fabrizio Romano.
Yeah,
you're lying.
Yeah.
Right.
Look,
Go on. Let's see. I know this is great.
I'm that guy
viewing.
from Sky, innit?
Oh look! Oh yeah!
Replying
Do you remember
to
him,
my
Andy Bird?
There you
Where
go.
he used to go.
I can't do that now. I can't reply to the mother on stream.
Yeah, he go. No, go on. It's all right. I feel bad now. Go on.
I'm done with it now. You're making it up.
Do you remember Andy Burton? He used to go, I've had a text. Something is happening in Bolton. What's that mean? Shut up, you knob.
That guy on Sky that does it. Oh my God.
I love that.
He's like, he just stands there. He's like, and then the.
Oh yeah, then talk, and he won't talk, will he? He goes, I can't
talk.
talk. I can't talk. And you know he's blatantly on Just Eat.
Yo,
Yeah.
no, he's on like it's between
Word
like
up.
Just
Yeah.
Eat, timeline, like just doing what he does at home.
He's like, they've confirmed our order. Yeah, it's on its way, which is great because the transfer window ends in 10 minutes. Perfect timing.
Something's been confirmed. It is large Dynamite.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It'll be here in 25 minutes.
So Kane, possibly.
Yeah,
I think. Shall we say there? Not exactly.
We only got through one
Depends on the
press conference
situation.
quote, didn't we?
Yes, there are more. Sorry, we got sidelines by that fantastic super chat asking us about Harry Kane. So Ralf was being positive. You two were being relatively positive. I think you make some great points about the fact that we, performance-wise, we're getting better. Ralph's carried on in that vein. He said we controlled the game, but then again, if we concede a goal against Borough, it was after 65, 70 minutes, we should just stick to the game plan. Not all of a sudden lose shape or lose composure. I wanted to ask you about that because we've praised the team, not praised the team, we've given sort of acknowledgement that luck has gone against us, decision has gone against us. But one thing that has frustrated me, I don't think there is any excuses for this, against Middlesbrough, as Ralf Rangnick said, you're playing a championship team, you concede with 20 minutes, whatever, of normal time, not to mention the half hour of extra time, against a team that's literally not in our league. Against Burnley, we conceded relatively early on in the second half. There's a lot of football left to play. I just don't feel like the responses have been like we saw from United a year ago or whatever. United were very, very good at conceding and coming back. We did it all the time.
Yeah.
And it feels like something's not quite clicking in for us because we're conceding these goals and then it's just the frustration carries on.
I think that this team's still fragile in terms of confidence. I think despite the slightly improved results and was slightly more defensively resilient, we are still fragile in terms of confidence.
I think that's a fair
And the
comment.
other thing I think is, I think we underrated, or people underrated, how much having a happy and confident and sort of team unit that Solskjaer provided and helped nurture. I think people underrate how much that matters in football. It's not the only thing, and I think it found him out eventually, but it got us to second in the league. It got us to, cup finals and countless cup semi-finals. That did do that. But I think that at the minute we've got the tactics, or we're working toward the tactics, but you still hear about these things behind the scenes, people falling out, players taking the mick out of coaches, players not wanting to train late, all these sorts of things that I think when it comes to those crunch times when you've conceded a goal, you were playing really well, but now you've got your back against the ropes, I think we struggled to push on from that.
I think
the amount of times we came from behind under Solskjaer, and that's a mentality thing. Keep pushing, don't lose your head, and we did it so well, we don't quite have that mentality yet.
I agree. I think we don't have that under Ralf yet. And one of the main things that I notice in terms of coming back into games now is when you watch last season, for example, Southampton, we were playing this weekend, we come back away from home last season, and it was like Cavani scoring a couple of goals.
Yeah.
A lot of those situations where we just almost wake up, like we're just not really in the game, like we don't really get going. This time round, it just feels like we've got a plan. We're having loads of chances. Things go against us. All right, we're up a goal, but you feel like you should be clear now, and you got that in your back of your mind. And then when you concede, you feel like we shouldn't be in this position. Yeah. And then it kills you a bit in it mentally. And I think it's just growing that ruthlessness within the team of just you need to score, like keep going, keep creating the same chances. We're still rinsing them. Like the other day, Sancho and Rashford were getting at the wing, especially Sancho in the final third, looked very confident. He was playing good passes and stuff like that. So that seemed to go after we conceded that goal. It's like you could have just continued doing the same things and gaining control of the game. But yeah, again, that's something that hopefully the coaching staff work on, because we are creating good chances and there are sequences of play that we're starting to see slowly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, just also in that vein as well, Ralf Rangnick was talking about our positioning, our shape. He mentioned the number 8s when he was talking about that as well. He said, if we can find it, sorry. He said our 2 8s were too far outside when he's talking about positioning. We have to stick to the game plan all of a sudden, not lose structure, lose shape. It was obvious for some 15, 20 minutes against Burnley that we lost our shape. It got better at the end of the game. We had more control, but in those 15 minutes, we lost that shape. So you can see what he's getting at there and how important that is for him. And it is difficult for a new manager to come in. And the big sort of problem that Ralf Rangnick's always had since he arrived at Manchester United is he's bringing in this new style, this new sort of, I hate using the word, but is it philosopher?
Why do you hate using it?
Because it reminds me of Louis van Gaal. Right. And I literally spent about 2 years trying to work out what that meant. Yeah. As did every journalist who covered Manchester United. And it was almost gobbledygook. At one point, they were talking about tea ladies and, your favourite topic, tea ladies and cleaners as part of the philosopher. And people thought it was about tactics. Well, it's not, is it, if you're including the tea lady in your philosophy? And that's why it just brings that up. But I think with this, the point I was getting at is he's trying to change everything. New style, new sort of, formation, all this new stuff. but you've only got 5 months, and we need results. We need to finish in the top 4 and go for trophies. Obviously, we're out of the FA Cup, we're still in the Champions League, and that's the sort of the problem he's got, because he hasn't got, like when Klopp came in, me and you were talking about this on live the other day. Klopp came in, I think he said, give me 4 years to win the title.
Yeah.
Ralf Rangnick's not coming and go, give me 4 years.
No.
You got
Give me 4 months.
Yeah. So that's the problem he's facing.
The top 4 thing.
Yep.
I think and it's just a separate point, but I want fans to be more optimistic.
Yeah.
Because like fans will sit there all the time going, we're not going to get top 4, top 4, top 4. And then you go, so, okay, we've got top 4. Last season, we've got top 4. We're in the Champions League. We've got out of the group stages. We get Atletico Madrid. We're not going to beat them. We're not going to win the Champions League. What's the point? It's like, well, why do you even want top 4 if you think we've got no chance of winning?
Yeah.
Like, you see it all the time, people going, well, what's the point in talking about Champions League? We're not going to win anything this season. Why do you care about top 4 then?
Like,
this is what the Champions League is, facing the best teams in Europe. We've got a chance.
You can win the Champions League.
Of course you can.
Like, Chelsea finished 6th, won the Champions League. Scousers finished 5th, won the Champions League. Porto, under Jose, were probably about the 8th best team in that competition when they won it. It's happened so many times where a team who isn't that great or isn't one of the best in the competition wins it. Now, I'm not going to say we're going to, but you've got to have at least that ambition to,
and people are so obsessed with top 4, yet think we've got no chance of winning the Champions League. You might as well want us to finish 6th.
Yeah.
Because at least we've got a chance of winning Europa. Like, if you don't think we're going to win the Champions League, why do you care if we finish top 4 or not? I just think have a bit of optimism sometimes.
I think as well, the trouble with the top 4 is it becomes the be-all and end-all, because you don't just go, are we going to be in the Champions League and we're going to win the Champions League? Are we going to be at its then also, can we buy Kane or Declan Rice or, whoever, Bellingham or whatever? Can we make those signings? Are we going to lose loads of money? Are we going to have to let certain players go? It just becomes this sort of thing where everyone goes, oh, the wheels come off the...
I know it's more of a marker than just a tournament.
But no, I understand what you're saying.
Do you know when I stopped bothering as much as I think the summer... It was the first like COVID summer break in it, and I remember we were linked to Sancho a lot, and we would think this is it, top 4, and we're signing him, and this is big for him joining us. And the reports were like, if we make top 4, he will join, and then nothing happened.
And also,
we didn't sign a defensive midfielder. We didn't sign Jadon Sancho. We go into the season after when we're top of the league, with like the signings of Tellers and Van der Beek, who Ollie didn't really want, and I'm just thinking the club aren't going to make the right decisions. The club aren't even going to make the decisions that the manager wants or the squad clearly needs. What is the point? Is he even bothering as much?
Do you know what as well?
Yeah.
Like it can affect certain players coming to a club. I'm not saying it can't, but United can still sign players if you don't get top 4. Yeah. We've done it before.
Well, didn't we sign Pogba when we finished, or was it?
Yeah,
Pogba's first season in the Europa League because we won it.
Yeah,
exactly. And Zlatan, the 35-year-old Zlatan was willing to come to a club that wasn't in the Champions League. So it's not like, if you don't get the Champions League. No. How do you think City built themselves up getting to the level they did? Because they weren't in the Champions League for a few years, but they were buying some of the best players, best young players in Europe.
And as a fan, the reason you should want to finish top 4 is so that you can watch your team in the Champions League and have at least some optimism that you might win it. If you get a bit of luck, things go your way. Yeah. That's what the Champions League is for, to have a chance of winning it, not just to be like, oh, we're not going to be able to get the signings we want. Yes, that's a factor, but you're watching Man United play football. They're a football team. You should at least delude yourself into thinking, you know what, if we beat Atletico, get a decent round of the next one, maybe get Liverpool in the semi-final, that's what you got to be thinking, not what's the point, we're out of everything, it's shit.
Get involved in the chat. Loads of comments. I'm going to get through them all as well. Loads of super chats and some of the comments too. Samuel says, do you reckon if we signed a competent DM instead of CR7, would Ollie still be in a job? I think it's more than one player, to be honest with you.
I think it was a structural thing in the way we play. Teams just shut us out too easily. But in the current situation, I will say, when I'm watching Man United right now, as much as I do like Scott McTominay, when he's playing in that lone DM, he just cannot play that role. In the tight spaces, he can't maneuver properly and stuff. And
he got a little bit exposed against Burnley, didn't he?
We proper need. If you look at this team, this 4-3-3 is actually decent to watch and stuff, but it's still that issue right in the middle behind the 2 number 8s, and United badly need to upgrade them.
We just haven't got someone who's ideal for that role. Matic is too old, and Fred and McTominay are not a number 6.
I can't remember who it was who tweeted it, so if it was an idiot, then forgive me. But someone was tweeting about how it's conceivable that after Ronaldo left, Sporting, 15 years ago, 20 years ago nearly, Fred and McTominay might be the worst midfield he's ever played in front of in his whole career. And like the same with Paul Pogba. This is probably the worst midfield he's ever played in. Obviously, the 4-3-3 is different now because Bruno brings that up a bit. But like playing alongside Freddie McTominay, that's probably the worst. Like he's played with Marquisio, Vidal, Matuidi, before like Scholes. Like he's played with some of the best players in their positions of the generation. A lot of the players around our midfield, Varane the same, is playing with the worst midfield he's played with in his career. Like that's mad. I think
when you look at the success of every team in like the modern era, that's always such a key role on the pitch.
Yeah.
I think two situations I look at is Casemiro. When Zidane come in, they had this big problem where they were struggling, and then one of the biggest things was bringing Casemiro into that team. And rather than using James Rodriguez, they bought Casemiro and then played two centre mids with Kroos and Modric either side, and it completely changed that Madrid side. And then you look at it as an example of like City coming into that Champions League final. Take Rodri out of that team after he was in good form, and they fall apart. And I think that DM role is such a specialist role. And you look at Busquets at Barca and so on. There's examples of it almost feels like you can't win at the top level. You can only do it maybe like, and again that's why the tournament thing. Like you look at Chelsea in the Champions League, Jorginho wasn't really a holding sitting midfielder, and I think Kante is more of an advanced defensive midfielder. Like he isn't the pure holder. And I think at times, if it's like tournament football, you can edge it. But over the course of a full season where you need to dominate games, where you can't just go off with a couple of lucky situations in a game and stuff, you're just going to need to have a proper DM in there.
Yeah, I agree. Daniel Kirk says, completely agreed with your predicted 11, Question, should Marcus play on Saturday for ball in behind against Southampton? Also, Tellez is back. Would you start Marcus? I can't remember what you
I'd say Elanga just because I thought Marcus was better the other night, but I don't know if playing him every game now just because he had a bit of a better game is not fair on Elanga, but I think Elanga brings a lot to the team and I don't want to lose that.
I think Marcus is good off the bench as well.
Yeah,
it's like all of his goals have come off the bench.
I thought he did all right the other night, Marcus.
I thought he did all right.
I was surprised to see him getting so much grief.
Oh no, I wouldn't give him grief. I thought he did all right, but I just think
he did well. I think the issue is that we see that night is when we look at the goal, it come from that combination again of Marcus Rashford to Luke Shaw with the cutback, which is something we've seen quite a bit of under Ollie, didn't we, last season? But then we didn't see enough of Marcus on that left. And I like the idea of both switching the flanks because they do offer different things in there, like Rashford and Sancho. And I think we need to rotate the flanks a bit more in between them. We didn't do enough of that night.
We've also got some merchandise, some mugs. Yeah, not just us three mugs, some actual mugs. So you can see, look at those mugs that are available there. You've got CR7, you've got McSauce, you've got Bruno Fernandes, you've got Marcus Rashford, you've got everyone. You've
got all sorts.
You know what I mean? So make sure you go and check them out. There's a link in the description, I think, there.
Paddockmerch.com.
Or paddockmerch.com. Yeah, it's easy to remember, even though I always forget. So paddockmerch.com, go and check that out. We've got t-shirts and hoodies and all that stuff, but we've got a range of new mugs that are available.
So when you're watching the brew, have a sip out of it.
I've just ordered one myself because I haven't got one yet.
Well, it's brand new.
Because
no one's got one.
Yeah, so you can get
You're
one
just
before
saying
me.
that you've not ordered it.
What?
I'm not seeing you order that.
I have ordered
Caught
it.
him lying. This is what they do.
You've been too busy on your phone texting Fabrizio Romano, asking him,
I went on my phone
is
for
the real
10
woman
seconds.
giving Stuart Atwell his drugs?
To be fair, Alex was showing me these before the show, and I was a big fan of the McSauce one.
Yeah. Right, well,
if you behind that.
Sort your attitude out, I'll get you one. Yeah. Right, so make sure you're checking those out as well. And hit the like button as well, people. Give us another like. Let's get to 1,000 likes by the end of this show. Polly160 says, does anyone now hear the word pure and think of Abdul saying prrr ball up the paddock? How do you say it? Go on.
It's just pure ball.
It's pure. You mank. How do you say it?
Right
pure.
Now.
It's pure ball.
No, pure,
we'll be
innit?
back.
Pure.
No, but I'm not from Manchester, am I?
Yeah.
It's pure.
Samuel says, having watched 15 minutes of footage, I can confirm Darwin Núñez is the future of Manchester United Football Club.
Survival.
I want to watch that kid,
fastest.
you know. Like, we're talking about strikers. I actually want to watch that kid.
Yeah.
He's quick.
Scripps GSO says, Borough, Harry pauses to flag the linesman for a handball, gets skinned against Burnley. He's nervous every time he plays. Our captain needs to go down with the ship, not the one to put holes in it.
The second one, superb. Gets skinned, looks shit, awful.
Yeah.
He was the only centre-back remotely in position when that goal goes in for Borough.
Yeah.
You can have a go at him for some things, but Varane is like the other end of the pitch. Dallo isn't even in shot. Yeah. He's the only one who's even remotely in his position. Come on, fair enough. He got done against Burnley. That was completely his fault twice. But come on.
I feel like with Maguire, it's difficult for people to almost give the right criticism. And
it's very populist as well. If I come on here now and I sat here for 20 minutes and just slagged off Maguire, I guarantee very few people would be giving me grief about it. But most people would probably be agreeing with me. If I come on here and stick up for him, I'll get more stick. People go, what are you on about, Jay? It's very easy to go, everything about him is awful. He's been terrible since we bought him. He's the worst sign ever. Everything about him's terrible. Every goal that we've conceded this season is his fault and all that sort of stuff. He just needs to be a bit of balance with him, be accurate. I agree with what you say. I don't blame him for the Borough goal at all. I blame anyone. I blame the referee.
He's got two men around him and no defenders near him.
The chance starts from the I think that Borough game as well, Luke Shaw was giving away way too much space on that side.
I mean, to be fair as well, for the Borough game, you've got to be scoring more than one goal against Middlesbrough over 2 hours of football.
I can't.
Honestly, come on.
It still pains me, Jay.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, fair enough. Burnley's one thing. 1 goal away from home against Burnley is not amazing, but it's not the end of the world. But scoring once against that Borough team is just unacceptable. And you know full well they'll just end up getting probably battered in the next round, and everyone will be like, "Oh, actually, they weren't that good." Abdullah Ibrahim says there are fundamental issues which are not going to be solved by signings. Rangnick has improved our style. Next thing for us is to finish teams off and not get outplayed in the second half.
I think that's very well put. You can see that these issues are being solved in terms of the style and the system and what we're trying to do, which it almost feels like we just didn't have that, like especially in the attacking sense. So what's
are you laughing at, Jay?
After my little speech, I've cut through to people, to the viewers, and Abdetta Zood says, he's worst defender ever in United history. So there you go.
That's the analysis
ups and downs
you pay for.
Tim Collins says, we're not cross, just disappointed. Daniel Farr says, Maguire isn't good enough, but not the worst. Who has been great this season? United do need to move on from him and disregard the price.
I'll tell you who's been great this season, Jay. Wayne Rooney.
Oh, well.
Manager of Derby County.
There's the new Wayne Rooney.
The new Wayne Rooney. Do you think it's a new model?
Oh, right, sorry. He jumps in there before I finish my sentence.
Before you finish what?
No.
Hey, nice.
That pause was a bit too long. Like the new Wayne Rooney.
Documentary.
Yeah.
It was a bit
on Amazon Prime.
In it.
Yeah, it was.
It's a good watch. Right? Do you know what I mean?
Took the piss there, mate.
Hey, there was not. It wasn't any gap there that deserved him jumping in. So I don't know why you're sticking.
I feel like when you said it, you waited for someone to say something.
No, I didn't. I was finishing my
sentence.
sentence.
Well, it's 2-1, Jay.
That's not. This isn't a democracy. This is a dictatorship.
Put it in the comment.
Right?
Yeah, so, if it is a dictatorship,
exactly.
You think you're the dictator.
Definitely not the dictator.
It was all lined up for. Tell you who has been good this season, David De Gea. I've got some David De Gea quotes.
Have you?
Yeah.
I thought we were meant to be talking about Wayne Rooney.
No, well, I was going to talk about David De Gea first.
Oh, go on then.
That was perfectly lined up, and then you jumped in with Wayne Rooney. And then I went to talk about a documentary, you jumped in again, and then your little mate here, who's busy texting Fabrizio Romano, jumped in as well.
Abdul,
right.
Kill him.
I'm sorry. Sorry, viewers.
Can't do it on camera, unfortunately.
David, I'll just mention a quote from David De Gea, then we can move on to the Wayne Rooney documentary. David De Gea says, even just seeing Ronaldo walk through the door gives you a desire to show you're at his level. He works so hard and he's very demanding of himself. I think he's a bit calmer than before, but he is a machine.
How does he know?
I was about to say, he didn't play with Ronaldo before, has he?
No. He left in 2009, David De Gea arrived in 2011.
Yeah. Also, he's gone on to say as well, we should have competed for more trophies, bigger titles, but I just don't know why this team doesn't function. David De Gea has probably been our best player this season. Would you say?
Yeah. There or thereabouts.
Says a lot.
It does say a lot, doesn't it? When
I swear sometimes I'm watching that guy just glued on his line. I know he makes insane
even
saves,
the goal against Burnley, like, have you seen Rodriguez travels like 20 yards with the ball and David De Gea moves 1 yard.
Like, don't get me wrong, I like De Gea, man. Like, he is one of my favourite players over the last 10 years or whatever. Like, he's been at the club. But, like, come on, man. Like, if he's our player of the season and you can fault him for a few things. Because, like, when he was our player of the season under Jose, that was different. He was insane. Like, you could barely fault him for anything. Yeah. Like, you couldn't fault him for anything, literally. Like, now, there's games where, like, he should be commanding more in his box. He should be coming out.
Like the goal against Villarreal away, the goal against for Bernardo Silva against City as well. Where I
think the Leipzig games is probably the angriest I've seen you during a game.
Oh god,
last season, when the ball comes 25 yards
I
into a 6-yard box.
You've got to come out and get that, man. Like there should be no excuse.
And it was like that whole looking up, like what do we do here? You know what I mean? Just deal with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Great shot stopper. But
yeah. I just don't think you're ever going to get him to be that guy. And it's whether his shot stopping is worth putting up with the faults he has commanding his area. Obviously, shot stopping, and his distribution. Mr. Hoss says, would you rather Ralf stay on than get Poch?
The thing is, with Poch, I'm a bit different to what most fans are now. I still take Poch. Like, he is still on my list of managers. I feel like stylistically, the way his Spurs team played would fit a lot of, like, people compare us to PSG where they're like, oh, PSG have got these players who just aren't going to run, who aren't going to do this. And I actually disagree with it. Like, I feel like the United team are different to that. I feel like when I look at Bruno Fernandes, when I look at Scott McTominay, when I look at some of the types of players in this team, when you look at Marcus Rashford, who can play that inside forward role that Son did so well under Poch at Spurs, if you can bring in a striker like a Isak who links up play well, or if you could, like I said, if you can bring in Kane and again, like, these things, I feel like there's something in this squad where he can come in 2 signings and he could do well. But I'm looking at it from a long-term perspective, and I feel like Poch could. It feels like it just gives me that vibe of 2-3 years, and I want to see that Klopp effect, that Pep Guardiola effect of installing something in the side and in the system and the way the team wants to play and transition in the future. So that's why I feel Ten Hag might give us more of that. When I'm looking at Ten Hag's Ajax, when you look at the Champions League in 18-19. They lose the whole team, basically, don't they? I mean, they lose the lick. The main guys are gone. Frenkie de Jong, Donny van de Beek, like the main guys basically in that squad. And he's just constantly found ways. He's switched the system, from a diamond to a 4-2-3-1, but it's a lot more fluid than our 4-2-3-1, for example. And and I think that's what I really like about Ten Hag. He feels like he improves a lot as the years go on.
Ziyech as well, obviously taken from the team
against Ziyech, So they lost the key players.
Team, that he's lost there. Daniel Kirk says, can Ronnie's son play DM? Nicely ties in with this because Cristiano Ronaldo's son, Ronaldo Jr., he's signed for the United Academy and he's going to wear the number 7 shirt just like his dad. You can see a picture of him there behind us. I mean, it's all a nice story. It doesn't mean a lot, does it? Do you know what I mean?
Jesus.
I mean, no,
J. Marty with the comment. Who gives a fuck about that?
No, but do you know what I mean? Like, we can all get carried away and go,
it's a nice little story, but he's not going to play for the first team anytime
I've got
soon.
several reasons why I'm not getting overly bothered by this. Right, one, we don't even know how long Ronnie's going to be here for, and if he moves to Spain, he's not going to leave his son.
The boy
here.
stays.
Yeah, he's not like, I can't leave for Madrid or wherever. I'll go back to Madrid or wherever he goes because my son's on the academy. He'll just take him with him.
We keep the boy.
Yeah, and secondly, I remember Jordi Cruyff. Yeah, just because your dad's mint doesn't mean you are. So he might be very good in the academy. Jordi Cruyff was very good up until he was 20s.
Can I give you a name? Frank Lampard Jr. Yeah, outstripped his father, who himself was a top player. Yeah, right. Can I give you another name?
Go on,
Jamie Redknapp.
Yeah,
need that go on?
He's going through the West Ham team.
The
West Ham team of the 1970s.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Michael Carrick Sr.? No, didn't think so because his son was so much better than him. Here's the thing you're forgetting, Jay. Almost every professional footballer is better than their dad at football.
So
you absolute idiot! David Beckham's way better than his dad. Messi's way better than his dad.
Tom Ince absolutely urinates all over Paulins from the great height.
Tom Ince is very much one of in the minority here. David De Gea is way better than his dad at football. So if this kid is way better than his dad, we've got an alien on our hands.
But Rooney as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Rooney's better than his dad. Who even is Wayne Rooney's dad? You don't know. Because he's probably shit at football.
You make a very good point.
Right.
You reckon they're both dead shit, though? Like, they're both bad, like Rooney and Ronaldo's kids. And they get bullied in the change room. Reckon they get like bullied in the change room?
Do you reckon when Ronnie said, when he was signed, he went, my son plays football as well. It'd be great if he could come to the academy.
Yeah, we've seen it.
Just before I sign this piece of paper,
I
would really love my son to have the number 7 shirt.
We'll get your contract signed and then we'll sort it.
I'll tell you what.
I think Ed Woodward's gone, you know what, all right, signed it, and then they've gone to the academy coach. What the fuck's this?
Bro, he's picking up the ball and he's eating grass. What are you doing? Like, what is this? He's the number 7.
Jr., get off the floor. Stop sitting down.
Get the photo shoot done. Don't argue with me.
Wrong net.
He is a goalkeeper, though, so he's allowed to
all right, fair enough. Forgive me, though.
Of course he's not.
No, it's number 7, isn't it? Forgive me, like, he might be mint. I'm just not getting
It's
that
disrespectful
excited.
to a child.
It's not disrespectful to a child to say, I have no idea whether it matters.
Did you ever consider calling your son Justin Jr.? What are you licking your fingers for?
I'm not.
We have
looking
to
at
do
fingers.
like a.
I had something there.
we have
Did
to
you
do
ever
like.
consider calling your
I
son
had
Justin
been
Jr.?
saying
And
something
your
in the team.
response, I asked you a question. Did you ever
Yeah.
consider calling your son Justin Jr.? And
Yeah.
your response was this.
I had something to see, and I thought I'll get away with it, and then you just drew attention to it. No, I didn't. Well, maybe slightly.
Did you actually?
We went through about 100 names, bro. Honestly, we went through the phone book.
Did you do that thing where you put him at one side of the room and then you shout loads of names and see which one he comes to? That's what you do with dogs, isn't it?
What the fuck?
We've never
No.
done that. Was that we don't know what to name him, so we'll go Caesar.
No, we'd already
Caesar.
named. By the
And
time
dog's still
he
licking his
arrived,
bollocks.
we already had a name for him. We didn't
If you
wait
have a
till he was
kid
born,
in this
man.
area, you
Yeah,
have to
I
name them after a footballer, I think.
Do you think? Who are you going for? Batistuta.
Like, you know what Zidane Iqbal? Like, that's a sick name, that.
No,
That
but
is
then
good.
he like putting pressure on him. Like if he's not very
Nah,
good.
but
Like,
then if
Ronaldo
you-
Brown
nah.
gets away with
No,
it.
that's
he's good
why
at
my
football.
son's called
But this
Jimbo
is what I'm
Jemba
saying.
Smith.
I feel like
That
I
way, there's
feel
very
like-
little pressure.
Yeah, clever St. Mottershead. I think
Yeah.
I should have gone with.
Smashed it.
Like, there you go. He's rubbish, but what do you expect?
Yeah, exactly.
No, but what I'm saying is, I feel like it gives him a bit of an extra like thing if you're going for contract talks, or if you like
Yeah.
that kid's cord. Like if you're
Yeah,
going
it
through
also
this,
gives you that
the
thing
scouts
when
are like Ronaldo.
Yeah, when you're
Ronaldo,
playing
like,
against
he's gotta
him
be
and you
good.
go, he's called Ronaldo, you think, right, I'm going 2-footing him straight away. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be mint, aren't you,
Yeah.
to carry that. So, yeah, it's one of them.
Overtime
Listen, I
Mottershead.
hope that Ronaldo Jr. is amazing. I hope he has a sterling career at Manchester United and surpasses his dad, like, as you pointed out, most footballers do. I'm just a little bit,
Do you think they'd ever be?
underwhelmed.
How old is he?
11, I think.
I was gonna say, do you think they'd ever be able to play in the same team? That'd be nuts.
Yeah, maybe Ronaldo's got a clause in his contract
Yeah.
that he can keep playing until he's 52 or something.
Probably.
Yeah,
Nah,
you
is
never
he
know.
11? He's not 11.
I think so. Is that what it said on that
he's
thing?
not
Well, how old do you
11.
think
Yeah, 11-year-old. Why do you not
I
believe
thought
that?
he's older than that.
What?
I thought
don't
he'd
get
been
into it.
about for long.
He looks 11. Right.
Wait,
anyway.
wasn't he around when Ronnie was here? First time.
No. No, because he's only 11.
No,
We've
no,
established-
is it like, sorry. No, in my mind. I know it
Ronaldo
sounds
was here
dumb.
13
No,
years ago.
no, sorry.
He's
In
11.
my mind, he was here. That's what I meant. Like,
Okay, yeah.
When Ronaldo
No,
was
I
here.
mean.
Right. Okay. Right. I'm glad we got that cleared up.
That
Anyway,
was just another boy.
how time works.
Hand me that boy.
Yeah.
My parade child.
Like the king of the 1800s. Pose for the photos. Right. Take them away. That's
Take the
enough of
boys
that.
away, put them back in the mountain.
Yeah, that's enough of that. Staino has been a member of the first team for 15 months. Says, I live near the City Ground. Reckon it's worth going to a Forest game just to watch Ghana. PS, can't wait for Kai, CR7, Junior, and Baby Van Persie.
Loads of tickets flying around, mate.
Yeah.
Not even
I
taking
would.
the piss. Like, there is always.
I don't mind watching other teams. Obviously, you just sit and watch it, but it's just watching football, isn't it?
You got to watch it in the city end, but yeah.
Abdullah.
Yes, mate.
I'm going to wait a minute. One more thing I forgot here. Abhishek, every time David De Gea is informed, the team does shit.
No, it's the other way around.
Am I the only one that sees this?
The only time David De Gea looks good is when he's playing in a team that concedes a lot of chances. When he's playing in a team that doesn't concede a lot of chances, he looks bad because he loses concentration and he's not very good at come off his line. He only is at his best when his team is against the wall. That's how it works with David De Gea. And we've seen that over the last decade.
We have indeed. Abdullah, where can people find you?
Abdul GH_ on Twitter. Hit me up on there.
You're still
Follow
doing
me.
your PR ball stuff.
Currently on a bit of a break, unfortunately.
Bit of a break. You barely started. You're already
Yeah,
taking
barely
breaks.
started.
Stop, don't have a go at him.
What sort of work ethic is that? We're starting a new channel.
Yeah.
Oh, we're having a break already.
Unfortunately, we haven't
Hey.
got the facilities to record.
Oh,
We've
yeah,
got
that,
the
We're
facilities.
going to have
for
to
that.
discuss this after
yeah, that
the
old
show.
chestnut. We haven't got the facilities.
Jay, can I pay you
know what I mean?
25 quid a month to record here for
Yes,
like
you
50
can.
hours?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Right,
thanks.
there you go.
So,
No
there
excuses
you go.
now. So the
No
Pure
more
Ball will be
excuses.
back on Monday morning at 7 a.m.
Sam?
Right. Where can people find you?
Joe Smith 93 or out in Nottingham on
I had
Saturday
a lot of
night.
compliments about your appearance today.
Really?
Yeah, people saying your hair tied up.
Gone a little
your-
bit dapper laugh.
Layered,
haven't I?
they were calling you. I don't know what that means. But
I'm
that's-
layered as hell, yeah. Cheers, guys.
So
Thank
everyone's
you.
impressed.
What was that? Someone up behind the camera who, let me say, is dressed like some sort of street urchin, trying to have a diss at me.
Why? What were they saying about you?
I don't know, disgusting. Piss off.
Hey.
He said I looked like Dapper Laughs doing an apology video. That was
Oh,
a
do you
joke
remember
I
Dapper
made.
Laughs?
That was a joke I already made.
Oh, was it? All right.
Dickhead. He's a dickhead and all Dapper Laughs.
Oh, my mate had a Twitter beef with him, and I shouldn't really say who it is.
beef.
Say it.
My mate Tudor. And
He didn't need to say it. No one made the. He didn't make the story any better, Jay. You just wanted to drop him in it.
Tudor, and he can box you, right? And he was out
shit.
round with him, and then he was saying like, "Oh, you wouldn't say that to my face and all that," and she was
said
like,
that? Dapper lass.
Dapper lass to Chidi, and Chidi was like, knew where he lived. So Chidi sent him a picture where he was.
Yeah, he shouldn't have said who.
And then he's obviously gone on Chidi's photos and seen like him doing all this boxing, and then sent him like an apology.
Oh, that is a stinker.
But that's why I'd never threaten anyone in real life or on the internet. Because I know I can't fight, and I don't know that they can't. So why fucking risk it?
What am I reading here, by the way?
What's this, man?
What's that all about?
These are some notes. Have I got to read this?
No, you haven't got to read it. It's just a little diss, isn't it?
Oh, right.
What the fuck?
This is, I don't even know what that is, so I won't read it. We'll discuss that later. Right, thanks for everyone who's got involved in the comments and the chat. Yeah. Thanks for everyone. Thanks for Manscaped for sponsoring us. Go and check them out. You get 20% off and free shipping. There's a link in the description. If you're not doing already, check out the new mugs, the merchandise that is there as well. And don't forget to check out the membership section. We've got loads of extra content on there, including behind-the-scenes video featuring Rio Ferdinand. We also do stuff like Desert Island disc type thing, where we do a bit of a chat with some of the presenters, and fantasy football stuff as well. And there's a sort of exclusive members-only chat you can get involved in as well. If you're not doing, subscribe to the channel. We'll get 700,000 subscribers. Go and check him out on Pure Ball when he can be bothered doing it again. Go and check him out on the internet, wherever he is. And I've been Jay Motti. This has been The Brew. I also forgot what it was called then. That's been Joe Smith. That's been Abdullah. Thanks for watching.